But motherhood has a way of exposing where some of the beliefs that we've made our own don't work. Raising kids comes with having lots of pauses to what we need to get done or what we think we need to get done. It means that we are carrying a mental load that has to manage the needs of others and not just our own. Time keeps moving no matter how hard we try to incorporate a new time management system. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but we all have different priorities, responsibilities, and demands that come into play within that 24-hour time frame. Hello, and welcome to Mom's Way to Wellness. If you are a mom who feels lonely, unseen, and overwhelmed with the demands of motherhood, you are in the right place. I am your host, Ida Maravillas. I help overwhelmed moms transform their challenges into mental health and generational well-being as we talk about the struggles of motherhood, parenting, and mental health through a lens of faith. I offer resources and guidance to help you work through the challenges that are impacting your relationship with yourself and with others. Let's get into today's episode. Today's topic is productivity and the invisible load of motherhood. Many of us were taught that working hard and getting things done meant we were doing something right. We were being productive, which meant we were living up to an expectation. And living up to the expectations of someone we loved carried a lot of weight. It was important and it mattered a lot. For a long time, I carried this mindset in my everyday life, and I believed it too. I viewed productivity as a way of crossing things off the to-do list and getting things done that measured up to something valuable. But motherhood has a way of exposing where some of the beliefs that we've made our own don't work, especially when it comes to productivity and managing the mental load that comes with being moms. Today, we're going to talk about what's actually happening beneath the belief that we have to accomplish something on our to-do list to feel like we've been productive, and how we can consider a more realistic approach that holds some compassion for all the things we are carrying in our everyday lives as moms. I can think of a mom I worked with a few years ago who would go through a full day of work and feel accomplished. She managed to-do lists on the job, met deadlines, and adjusted to unexpected changes that impacted her daily schedule with ease. She felt really productive when she was at work. There was a sense of accomplishment with the workflow, adult conversation with coworkers, and sometimes there was even help and flexibility when a task actually needed more time than she thought she needed. Then she would get home and have to work through the second shift of her day. You know, the one that's unpaid, the one where other people call us mom, mommy, mother, whatever our name is to our kids for the whole second part of our day after we get home from our long routines when we do work outside of the home. The one that comes with never-ending needs to be met, going nonstop, because our plans involve kids. With kids, we can expect unexpected interruptions and a running list of things to do that don't seem to get done. And that is where the shift on productivity is needed. We can't measure it in ways that look like a list of projects that have been completed because our kids are not items on a to-do list. Raising kids comes with having lots of pauses to what we need to get done or what we think we need to get done. It means that we are carrying a mental load that has to manage the needs of others and not just our own. Can you relate to repeating thoughts on what you need to get done? Realizing you didn't think of what to make for dinner, or that you need to stop at the store for more ingredients? Having to help with homework that takes a long time to figure out because for some reason, math just isn't being taught the way it was when you were growing up. Having to run around for after-school activities, trying to manage everyone else's needs that come up, remembering appointments that need to be scheduled, having to work through a tough bath time or bedtime routine, or having to figure out what to do when one of the kids ends up getting sick. You have to run to the store to pick up supplies for a homework assignment at the last minute. These are all the things that lead to shifts in how we expected the second half of our day to go or our day to go. Expectations shift when we become moms. Our energy is held differently. The way we think and prioritize needs adjust, and a lot of unexpected things that were never written out on our to-do list actually come up and need the attention that we didn't plan to give. And this is why productivity can't be separated from the mental load, because we aren't just managing our own needs. We're managing lots of other needs too. For you, the people in your circle who might need care, it could extend beyond your kids. If you're in a relationship, it could include your partner. It can include grandkids, aging parents, neighbors who don't have anyone else to turn to. It could expect a lot of other people who end up in our inner circle, family members who just have a few limitations of their own and end up needing our help too sometimes. Our mental load includes a lot of planning and decisions that aren't always talked about because we just do what needs to get done. We sign the permission slips, we schedule the doctor appointments, we get the groceries, and then we wish we could have read the book we've been wanting to read, or we could have finished something that just kept getting pushed off. Just the other day, I stopped in my tracks and wondered what I was going to make for dinner. Then I opened the fridge and felt so relieved to see I had already bought the meat I planned to cook that night. Spaghetti was going to be the easy choice for everything that I had going on that day. And then less than a minute later, I thought to myself, oh no, what am I going to make for dinner tomorrow? It was just another example of the mental load. The daily decisions that come up that help frame our routines and the schedules we need to keep track of. When we don't acknowledge the mental load, our expectations of productivity can be unreasonable. Time keeps moving no matter how hard we try to incorporate a new time management system. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but we all have different priorities, responsibilities, and demands that come into play within that 24-hour time frame. What I can manage is how I choose to steward the time I am given by holding my priorities with intention. And I encourage you to do this. This is something that I'm trying to adopt in my own life, is that I can choose the attitude that I will share with myself and with others while I work on what I need to work on. And I can decide to pause what I'm working on to tend to the needs of one of my kids, especially when they need me for something that they haven't learned to do on their own yet. So 3 things I am learning about productivity and the invisible load of motherhood that I encourage you to consider are: first, your value, your worth, and your identity is not measured by the things you accomplish on your to-do list. We mean more than what we show up to do. So again, I encourage you to repeat after me and tell yourself, my value, my worth, and my identity is not measured by the things that I have to accomplish on my to-do list. The second thing is productivity is not always about checking something off the list to begin with. It's also about how you approach the unwritten things that come up, the unexpected interruptions. It's the idea of quality over quantity. Expect the interruptions and take a deep breath to be able to tune into the need that is brought to your attention. Showing up in a way that nurtures our kids requires a lot of flexibility and readjusting. The third thing is comparing your productivity to someone else's is not helpful. Moms carry some universal things in our invisible load, but we also carry things that are very unique to us. You may have a special needs child or have a child with ADHD who needs extra coaching, or a child with a learning difficulty who needs extra time completing homework. You just may have a very unique need within your home that no one else can relate to. No one else can understand unless they've been there too. Our kids need our attention, and sometimes that means finishing something will take more time to complete than we thought it would. Someone else may have a different support system than we do, a different way of doing things that works for them, or they may have different priorities than you do. So take the pressure off from comparison. I encourage you to consider that you are the only one who knows what it is that you're holding, what it is that you have to prioritize. Especially if you're looking online and scrolling and you see someone posting what looks like a perfect moment, a perfect interaction, or a perfect day. Because only we know the parts of our everyday lives that are meant to bring directly to God or to a few trusted inner circle people and not to others. Someone else's highlighted moment on social media doesn't mean life is full of highlights. Let's just give ourselves some permission to slow down and to consider that we don't have to measure up to somebody else's idea of who we're supposed to be. As moms, we need to be flexible with how much output equals being productive. Let's give ourselves permission to create the margin for being flexible with what we can handle and what we will accomplish. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Please subscribe and leave a review. This will help others find the show. If you would like to receive additional resources on motherhood and wellness, you can join my community by subscribing to my email list at idamaravillas.com. Remember, wellness is possible one step at a time.